Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this Gradcracker webinar with McLaren. So during this webinar, our aim is to find out more about McLaren. We will talk about who they are, what they do, and also what opportunities you, our STEM students, can apply for this year on Gradcracker. So starting with our contact, Alexandra, who is the Early Careers Lead, will have an introduction to the business and their opportunities, which are all currently live on Gradcracker. We will then speak to placement student Hector and graduates Alex, Maria and Cameron about what life is like for them. We will talk about what projects they have worked on, if they're involved in any networking groups, what training and development they have received, and also their future plans. We will then end the webinar by discussing the recruitment process and giving you an idea of how you can be successful. During this part of the webinar, the students will also give you an insight about how they use Gradcracker to apply to McLaren and why, and also how they've been so successful during their career so far. So let's get started and meet McLaren. Alexandra, lovely to have you on this webinar. So can you tell everybody a little bit about your role first and also about McLaren?
Yes, of course. And good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Alexandra Ribeiro, and I'm the Early Careers Lead at McLaren Automotive. I work for McLaren for just over 5 years, and I'm honestly saying I love it working here. It's a great place to be. And I'm based at our headquarters, that's the McLaren Technology Center in Woking, that's located in Surrey. And I have to say that the building itself is amazing. It's a state-of-the-art facility, and it definitely is one of the coolest workplaces in the world. And well, I will talk a little bit about McLaren. I hope that if you joined this webinar today, you know already a bit about us, about McLaren Automotive, but I will tell you a little bit more. So basically, our founder, Bruce McLaren, he built a legacy of relentless innovation. And I'm very proud and happy to say that the spirit is still alive in everything that we do today. Here is a very exciting place to be, and the things that we hear about the next projects and stuff it's really an amazing place to be. And talking about McLaren Automotive, I feel that I must mention one of our few of our iconic cars. I'm sure many of you will know them, but I will mention a few like from the P1, the Senna GTR, the 750S. They definitely turn heads on the road, and each one of them is a real piece of is a real masterpiece engineering. And as amazing as our products and our technology, I would say it's our people. It's the people behind the McLaren's car that make McLaren so special as it is. And I like to say, and I believe we really are a very friendly company. We are very multicultural. We employ people from 69 different nationalities, and each of our employees, they bring their own perspective and their own expertise, and that diversity, that's what drives our innovation. And talking about people, that's why we are here today, because we are looking for the future talent of McLaren. We are looking for the next generation of people who will help us to keep writing our story and to stay at the forefront of the automotive engineering. And if you are passionate and curious and excited by innovation, McLaren could be the perfect place for you to start your career.
Yeah, absolutely. So a brilliant introduction. Thank you very much for that, Alexandra. And your opportunities are currently live on the Gradcracker Hub. So we've got both your graduate opportunities. So there's 13 graduate schemes in total, just checking myself out there, and 13 year in industry opportunities as well. Obviously open to numerous applications and students. So Alexandra, if you can, could you give the audience a bit of a breakdown of what they can apply for this year?
Yes. So yeah, just to remind, applications are open until the 21st of November. And most of our roles, will be based in our headquarters in the McLaren Technology Center in Woking. But we also have schemes based in different locations. So the composites schemes will be based in Sheffield, in the McLaren Composites Technology Center, and the design schemes, they will be based in Bicester, in a McLaren Creative Center. And of course, to build amazing cars, we need lots of amazing engineers. So we have a range of schemes for engineering students. Goes from the obvious schemes called engineering, but the other ones not so obvious, like corporate quality, supplier quality, that they are also roles for engineers. And we also have manufacturing engineering, composites engineering, materials engineering. So there are lots lots of schemes for engineering students. But to build the amazing cars, we need experts in other areas as well, not engineering. So I think many times when people think about McLaren, they will think only about engineers, but we need more than that. We need experts on all fields. So we have schemes like in procurement, in finance, in commercial, people and culture. This is just to name a few. And I'm happy to say that this year we also added a few new schemes, like the governmental corporate affairs graduate scheme, and also the finance analyst industrial placement. So there are lots of options, and please bear in mind that you can apply for multiple schemes. You don't have to apply for just one. So if you'd like to maximize your chances, and if you'd be open, like for engineering, if you have an engineering degree, you can apply for all those schemes that I mentioned. If you study business, for instance, you can apply like for commercial, you can apply for procurement, for people and culture. So we are very open to the type of degrees, and we do encourage multiple applications.
Perfect. Carla? I think we might have lost Carla.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that, Alexandra. That was a perfect introduction. And thank you so
really good
much
to know,
for
Alexandra. Thank you very much.
Roles. Oh, Carla, you're back.
Am I back?
You're back.
Perfect. I was just saying thank you, Alexandra, for answering that question. And a couple of questions from the students as well. So we've had students debating whether they should do integrated masters, if that would up their chances on being successful in the graduate scheme. So what reply would you give to that?
I would say that not having a master's degree won't affect your application, that we welcome applications from students doing a bachelor's degree and not as well those doing integrated master. The most important thing is that your degree is relevant to the scheme that you are applying for. And also we would be looking into passion, skills, and potential to contribute. So I would advise on focus on gaining relevant experience outside of the university and outside of your studies, trying to develop your strengths and showing enthusiasm for McLaren and automotive engineering. But definitely not having a master's is not going to affect the application.
Perfect, lovely. Thank you, Alexandra. Hopefully I'm still here, Jess. I'm still here. Fantastic. Woohoo. So another question, if I can, Alexandra. So industrial experience when applying for the graduate scheme, does that help in any way, or what you've just said about other experiences obviously helps the students, but would you suggest they have industrial experience?
Yes, definitely having industrial experience will help the application. Of course, at this stage in your careers, we are not expecting you to have lots of work experience, and we do value a lot. We do put a lot of value on things like being part of university societies, being involved in projects, extracurricular activities, work of any kind, like work in a coffee shop during the weekend, work that all of the things will be bringing you like skills that will be transferable to the workplace. But industrial placement definitely will give you practical experience and will help you to stand out. And I just would like to add that we receive a huge volume of applications every year, literally thousands. So anything that highlights your skills and your experience will will help you to get the notes. And the industrial placement is definitely one of those.
Yeah.
Perfect, lovely. Thank you very much, Alexandra. We'll come back to you towards the end of the webinar to discuss the recruitment process. But for now, Jessica, I'm going to hand over to you and speak to the students, and they've all been massively successful. They all watched the webinars last year and the year before, which is really good to know. And Jess, here you go.
Thank you, Carla. And Hector, I'm going to come to you first, because we just said before we went live, didn't we, that you actually watched last year's webinar and you're here now as a placement student. And I said, what does it feel like? What's it actually like now? You know, thinking this time last year you were sat watching us and now you're actually sat at McLaren.
Absolutely, yeah, no, it feels like a dream. I'm not gonna lie. It's I always liked McLaren, and now being here, showing my passion and being able to show my experience here is great experience. Last year, as I just said, I was in my room, in my from the computer, dreaming of being here right now, and just the fact of being able to talk to everyone about my experience is great. It's lovely.
Amazing. And I can't wait to find out more. So Hector, come then tell us. So where did you go to university? What did you study? And what is your current role at McLaren?
Yeah. So I study at Oxford Brookes.
Yep.
I study motorsport engineering, and my role here is supplier quality engineer.
Fantastic. So obviously studying motorsport, you probably always had McLaren in mind then, that this was the goal. So why did you choose to do a placement at McLaren? What was kind of the driver really for thinking this is where I really do want to pursue a career?
Well, yeah, I think obviously having a placement is great experience to being able to go in the field and really experience what it's like to be an engineer before you actually finish your degree. And McLaren is always, as you said, is a company that always stands out as being one of the best companies for cars. So I always dreamed of being able to be working on these cars. And yeah, it's great to have the chance to speak with really experienced engineers and great engineers on their fields. So I'm learning so much here at McLaren. It's just another world.
Oh, I bet. And tell us a little bit more about your role then, Hector. So what is the placement and internship that you're involved in, and what's kind of a day-to-day look like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a supplier quality. So what it means right now, I'm working in the factory. I'm helping solve any issues that can come up while producing the cars. And it's, let's say, any issue with an engine, with the powertrains, or with a chassis that they can stop the line, or like there's some potential issue with that. I go there. My job is to try and figure out what's wrong, what's the root cause of the issue, right? Because you can always say, oh yeah, this is not going right, but why is it not going right? It's really about really understanding every component of the car, having a deep knowledge, engineering knowledge of how the whole system works, and then applying that knowledge to find what's the root cause of that issue, if that makes sense.
Wow. Yes, and it's in terms of responsibility, it sounds as though you've got a lot. Where are you actually based then? Are you at Woking or?
Yeah, I'm based in Woking. So I right now I'm in the MPC, which is the production center. It's just next to the MTC.
Yeah.
So you can just walk through a tunnel and get here.
Yeah.
It is a really great place to be, because you see all the cars being made. It's just, if you like cars, you're gonna love that place. It's really cool.
Well, like Alexandra said, it's world class. So, I can just imagine it's an incredible place to work. So, Hector, thank you so much. We're going to find out more from you a little bit later on. But Alex, I'm going to come next to you, with you being sat next to Hector. So, yeah, similar kind of questions, if you don't mind. So, where did you go to university? What did you study? Why? And what's your current role like at McLaren? All those questions.
So I went to university at Birmingham City University. I studied business management. I chose to study business management because, if I'm being honest, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to study, and I thought business management would open a few doors for me at the end. Obviously, with supply chain being in business management, that sort of links with procurement, which is what I'm doing here at McLaren. So I'm a procurement graduate and currently in the powertrain team, which is engines, exhausts, gears, systems. It's very cool.
I can imagine. So Alex, with you being open to, where your career could take you, for you, why was it McLaren then? What kind of attracted you to the automotive sector?
So I think the world-class brand of McLaren, and ever since I've been young, I've always been enjoying my automotive and watching cars racing, and specifically the GTs. So in automotive, we are less to do with the F1. and obviously the road cars. And so when I was younger, I grew up watching the GTs with my dad, which is what attracted me to the industry.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. I bet he's so proud of you.
Yeah.
I was just saying that as well before we went live. If you guys are my children, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so proud of all four of you. You've done so amazing. So what's the graduate kind of program like for you then now, Alex? What is it looking like? Give us a kind of a quick insight into what a typical day would look like for you.
Yeah, so we do a lot of cross-functional work in procurement. So it's really good if you want to explore the business as a whole as well as just buying. So I do a lot of work with finance, with legal, do a lot of work with the engineering team. So you really get to know a lot about the cars. As obviously when you're buying as a purchaser, you need to know what you're buying. So yeah, I have contact with the suppliers. So it's very hands-on, and you get to have a lot of responsibility in the sense that you actually have to manage relationship with suppliers. So yeah, it's really good.
And sorry, are you based in Sheffield then? Or are you working?
I'm in working as well. Yeah.
Working as well. So how did you obviously relocate for that?
With the graduate scheme, you get a relocation allowance, which definitely helped a lot. So yeah, once I found out that I got offered the job, we started looking, and yeah, with the relocation allowance, I was able to move down to working.
Oh, amazing. Perfect. And Alex, again, can't wait to find out more. But Mary, I'm going to come to you if that's okay. Again, just want to get you introduced. So yeah, similar kind of questions if that's okay. So where did you go to university as well? What did you study? Why? And what your role is now at McLaren?
Yeah, absolutely. So I studied at Queen Mary University in London, and I did a master's in mechanical engineering with an industrial placement. So I'm currently at McLaren as a engineering graduate. I'm in my second year, so I started last September now. And yeah, so I'm currently on my third of 4 rotations.
Right, fantastic. So tell us then what the kind of experience has been like so far, and tell us a little bit more as well about those rotations.
Yeah, it's been really great. I think kind of echoing what everyone's sort of been saying, McLaren is a really lovely place to work. It's a little bit smaller than other big manufacturing companies, so you get really like integrated and kind of involved from the day one. I've been given a lot of responsibility in the teams I've been in straight off the bat, just because they need more people. Everyone always needs more people in their teams, and so we're a resource and we're happy to help. But so the teams I've been in so far, I started off in test and development, which was a really interesting place to start because I was thrown straight into it where they were designing prototypes for the W1. So I got to get really hands-on with cars, got to go in a lot of testing, learn a lot very quickly. And then my second rotation was thrown into electronic systems and controls, or ES&C, where I was in a systems engineering team where we basically design the functionality of all of the features you see in the car, and we take into account certification as well as user experience, the engineering design of it, and then we basically create a roadmap on how that is meant to look. So that was really interesting. So it went from kind of later stage development to really early stage development of future cars. And now I'm currently in a concept design team, which is a lot of computer aided design. So we basically design everything you see on all of the cars for current and future models, which includes all of the prototypes.
Wow. So you are probably, you've got some designing some amazing things right now that a lot of us obviously will not know and not know much about. So I don't want to ask you too much to get you into trouble. But what is the future of McLaren looking like? What kind of things are you designing? Is it amazing?
It is amazing, and unfortunately I can't really say too much, but it is really cool, especially to get just an insight into what the direction the company is going in. I think also just to be given the responsibility to say, this is what we want to achieve, can you help us? And you just get the opportunity to really just help, and then you get to design something that's on a car. And I think that's awesome. So
that is amazing. And I found that even with Hector, even like what you've said, obviously as an intern, Hector, it sounds as though you've had a lot of responsibility quite early on. And again, Alex, with what you've said, I'm sure Cameron, you're going to echo that when we get to you. But that responsibility thing, how have you handled that, Maria, so far? And being able to not sink or swim, but just
a bit of syndrome at the beginning. You do feel like you're a small fish in a big pond, but everyone's very, very happy to help. Everyone's very kind, and as long as you keep asking those questions and you keep learning, you will get there. So I think it's just really, you just got to keep pushing, which guys are going to echo, but yeah. But it's at first, but I think that's the case in any place, especially being a grad, you change teams every 6 months. So you basically start learning from scratch every 6 months. But I think that's what makes the scheme so versatile. It's what makes you a better engineer because you have all of these insights.
Yeah, amazing. Cameron, I'm going to come to you to get you introduced now as well. So yeah, similar kind of questions if you don't mind. So where did you go to university as well, and what did you study, and tell us a little bit about your job role?
Yeah, so good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. My name's Cam, and I studied at Oxford Brookes University. I studied motorsport technology for the industry. And I'm currently the corporate quality engineer as a graduate. I joined in September, and I'm working on power cranes and chassis at the moment.
Fantastic. So how has it been then since September? Again, is it similar kind of experience to what Mario said in terms of you've just got to really involve yourself, you've had that responsibility. How have you found it over the last few months?
So yeah, it's been an incredible couple of months so far. Lots to learn, but the more you put yourself out there, the more you'll learn, the more you'll get out of the scheme. And I've really, really enjoyed it so far. So it's been amazing.
And tell us a little bit about your team then. Is it a large team that you work in? Is it the same people maybe every day, or do you find that you're kind of working with different people throughout the organisation?
So there's a close group of people I work with on a day-to-day basis, but then there's lots of different engineers which I'll link with to come to the root cause of issues that we find. And I have to work alongside the different engineers in different departments to find the best outcome or a best solution for the problem that we find.
So you've got to be quite a good problem solver, I can imagine. I can imagine all of you have got that as a very strong skill on your CV. But Cameron, how do you find yourself kind of going and asking those questions and putting yourself among, maybe senior engineers that maybe been at the organisation, maybe most of their career as well? How would you find kind of settling in and, having the confidence to ask those questions?
I think as being a new person in the team, they're always willing to help you out, and there's no silly question to ask because it's always there's a good outcome from everything that you ask, and it's a good learning experience, and everyone's really willing to help you out. And yeah, the only way you learn is by asking questions. So
exactly. So keeping on that theme then of kind of training and development. Obviously, I know you've only been there since September, but what kind of particular training development have you had since you've joined?
So when we started, we all got assigned learnings on the online site, and then if we find there's extra ones that we can do to aid our work, we can always ask our manager to assign them, or we can look them up on the company's website. So at the moment, I'm currently doing a training for some CAD software that we use, so I can view the parts on our vehicles and come to a root cause easier. Yeah.
Cam, question, because I know that I'm asking this on behalf of all the students that are watching this, and we have got some questions that we're going to ask a little bit later on that have been submitted. But is there any CAD development software that maybe you've used maybe before that's helped you in your role so far? Is there anything that a student could be doing now to maybe brush themselves upon any kind of skills maybe before applying? Anything you'd recommend there?
So at university, we used a bit of NX and we used a bit of SolidWorks. Both of those are great skills to have. Right. And I'm sure once I get into using the CAD software here, it'll apply to some of the features that the software that McLaren uses. So any software that your university uses, just get to know that really well. Yeah. And that will be beneficial for you in the long run.
Yeah, brilliant. And did you evidence that in your application then that you'd use that software?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's great. Hector, I'm going to come to you with you not being a graduate, being an intern. Tell us a little bit about the training development that you've had so far.
At the beginning it was pretty similar. We all have the online training that we have to do. Really interesting. It tells you a lot about how McLaren works and how the cars work as well. All of us, I think we have a lot of training on really understanding the cars, so it's easier for us to make the work. Also, really people in I think my department, but like in general, are really keen to showing you stuff and explaining to you how it works. I've been the first few weeks I was shadowing people, senior engineers or engineers in my department, showing me how to do the work, showing me what the process are to solving the issues. So it's been a lot of the learning I've done is actually with people showing me and giving me tasks or challenges to try and figure out by myself. So it's a bit of mix of, you know, textbook learning from the online web as well as just real life, getting to the field and experience and learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. And again, have you got can I ask you a similar question that I did to Cam? You know, is there anything that you think that you maybe practiced before before you put your application in, just to kind of brush up on a particular skill?
Well, yeah, I mean, when I was doing uni, I used the CAD software as well. We only use SolidWorks for the undergrads, but yeah, still I managed to get quite a few hours in there by working on our Formula Student project. So that was in my CV as well. And then just, I guess, any software or anything that engineering related that you might be interested in, just go ahead, learn it, and that's gonna help, I'm sure.
Yeah. I get the impression from you guys already, you've just got to really immerse yourself in the experience, haven't you? Ask those questions. Don't be afraid to ask. And like you've said, Hector, I think, and that's across any person you speak to, that if you ask questions and if they're passionate about what they're doing, they're going to talk to you about it, aren't they? They're going to want to help you. So yeah, get those questions asked. Hector, I'm sure one day you'll be a senior engineer and we'll be coming to you and asking you a load of questions. But Alex, coming to you quickly, because obviously not from an engineering point of view, but from like a business kind of corporate perspective, what training development have you received so far?
So similar to Hector in the sense that we get to shadow a lot of meetings and a lot of supplier meetings, so quite high level stuff as well. You get to meet all the main suppliers really, and you get to see how the communication works and how negotiations go. So on top of that, we also do certified procurement training. So we actually get the opportunity to do training in the office that has certification on top of it as well.
Fantastic. And again, what an amazing qualification to have.
Yeah.
In terms of other aspects then, I'm assuming kind of your day-to-day then, the people that you work with, do you have a mix of experiences of the people that you work with as well, in terms of kind of how long they've been at the business for, their kind of general experience? Is it kind of a mixed team?
Yeah, so in procurement, you have people that have been there a year, you've had people that have been there 10 years. And also one key thing that I think finds really good about McLaren is the progression opportunities. So you can see people who have been there for 10 years and people that have been there for 2 years, and the progression is really good, in my opinion. You have got lots of opportunities to go up the company.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have lots of people from different backgrounds as well. So a lot of people in procurement actually have worked in engineering before. So I think it does help to know the product that you're buying. So that's probably why. But yeah, we do get a mix of people and it's quite a young team as well. So a lot of people have finished university fairly recently, and we have a lot of mix of degrees.
Oh, that's great. And again, it's so nice to get that exposure in that particular role as well.
Yeah.
Now, I know we've got a student question. That's right, Carla, haven't we, for Maria in particular?
Yes, I'm hoping my internet is holding up. It's been a little bit dodgy, so apologies for that. But yeah, thank you, Thomas, from the University of York, for asking this question. So Maria, it's a little bit technical for me, but do you think the use of exotic materials will become more and more involved in the automotive industry?
Firstly, it's a fantastic question, really relevant. So good question. But yeah, I think it's a really interesting topic. I think specifically in the use of like technical lasers for analysis, or looking at things like sensitivity of sensors, especially when we're looking at like thermocoupling, especially when we're looking at management of batteries. That's where this area is really going to shine, especially things like carbon nanotubes. Some of you may know that majority of the tub of a McLaren car is made out of carbon fiber. So that kind of research is going to be really, really valuable to us. But I think the most interesting part about this is how we're going to expand this on a macro scale. So currently these technologies work really well in a lab, and that's where we're seeing all of these benefits. But where how we get there into large scale production for something like a company like McLaren, I think is where the most interesting part is going to be. So yeah, it's a really interesting area, but yeah, I think it's still up and coming. So I guess watch the space, see what happens.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that, Mary, watch this space.
Yeah.
And I've also got a question, Alexandra, for you as well. And so this is from Mohammed. So thank you, Mohammed. And I know Jess mentioned when she was speaking to Cameron before about AutoCAD and the use of AutoCAD and software and things like that. Now, do you think if a student has AutoCAD experience, it would benefit their application?
Yes, I would say so. Because everything that you have, any skill, any software, any technical skill that you have developed during your studies will help your application to stand out. So do make sure that you put all this on your CV, on your cover letters.
Yeah. And how do you want that to be seen? Do they have to kind of show their experience to you in a certain way, or just put that they do have experience?
I would say, well, the CV is more factual, no? So if you have the CAD experience or any other type of software, anything, make sure it's on your CV, and maybe you can put on the project that you worked on. But the cover letter and the screening questions will give you an opportunity to say a little bit more. So I would expand on that, you know, like on the cover letter, if you had worked with CAD in a specific project, or if it was on a specific discipline, I would elaborate a little bit. The screening questions that are part of our application, there will be questions prompting you to put this type of information. So definitely make sure that you mention as much as you can, you know, to sell yourself.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. Thank you, Alexandra. Jess, back to you to find out about projects.
So, and Alex, I want to come to you because I just want to, I'm not sure if I'm clear in my own mind then. Do you still get rotations then in your role? And how do you pick your next rotation?
They actually plan out the rotations for you. We have 3 grads at the moment in procurement, and they try to not overlap us and make sure everyone gets an opportunity to explore all the different types of teams in procurement, because there are a lot, and we only have 4 rotations over the 2 years. So they do it in the sense that you get to be directly involved with the cars, indirectly buying, so for the business, not just the cars, and strategic management and all sorts. So they actually choose the rotations for you, but I think you do have a say. If you do really want to go somewhere, you can ask and they will see what they can do, basically.
Yeah, perfect. And Marion, how does that work with your particular graduate program? Is your rotations already set out, or do you get to pick where you want to go next?
Yeah, so very similar to Alex.
Right.
So yeah, they were preset when we came, and then similarly, there were some that possibly you didn't want to do, or it wasn't actually your niche, or you wanted to explore different areas. And as long as you have that conversation, usually managers are happy to accommodate.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, so you can have, and also then, Mary, sticking with you for a second on this, do you get like a buddy as such then? So could you kind of have those maybe, you know, friendlier chats to say, because it might be a bit nerve-wracking to say that you don't want to do something just yet, or you know, you've got something coming up. Do you have like a buddy that you can kind of have those conversations with?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started out, they sort of were mentors, so it was senior the company. But this year, we've introduced a buddy scheme. So a buddy to a new grad, actually. So second year grads to first year grads. And that's been really fun. It's been fun for me to be a bit of a mentor to somebody else, but also I think it's nice, like you said, just to field some questions, especially when you start out. It's nice to ask someone silly questions like, where do I eat lunch? Or where do you go for this room? So that's a really nice part that we've sort of introduced recently. And it just breaks the ice a little. You have a friendly face because we get to chat before you join. So it is really helpful to have a little buddy.
Yeah, no, I bet. And that's so nice for you as well. Now you're kind of getting more senior in the organization as well, and to give back a little bit. No, I love that. That's great. Hector, I'm going to come to you a little bit more detail as well about your internship. So tell us again in terms of, you know, do you get any kind of rotations, or maybe if there is a particular project that you want to get a little bit more involved in that maybe isn't in kind of timetabled or anything? Can you do that?
Yeah, no, SQD I think is a great department because I get to see from the series where I'm right now in the factory till the concept. So I'm working backwards in the development. I'll do, I think it's 4 months in each department. So I start now in series, which is in the production plan. Then I'll move to site, which is seeing the suppliers and doing my work, but at the supplier sites instead of working on the factory. And then I'll move on to more project management. So I can have the opportunity to learn about everything engineering, so like design as well as management. So it is a great experience. For example, myself, when I started, I said I liked a lot of powertrains and chassis, so that's why I joined this team. I think if you like all the bits of the car, I think you have the chance to ask for it and work on that area that you prefer. So it's a great experience, and I'm learning a lot through this.
Yeah, definitely. I can imagine you are. Again, it is just about those communication skills, isn't it? It's going back to having that kind of inquisitive mindset, asking the questions, because you never know what might open up, you know, and you never know the kind of people that you might meet within the team and get inspired about doing something. Cameron, I'm going to come to you and about any other opportunities that you've kind of been involved in so far. So maybe a like social aspect or anything really that you've thought, wow, this has been incredible.
So I've signed up to be part of the run club, which goes on at lunchtime. They do social runs every sort of most days actually. They put a post out on the team's channel and say, we're doing an 8 kilometer run today. We'll be doing it at this sort of pace. Anyone's welcome to join.
Yeah.
And then we say we'll meet at the turntable and go from there basically. And I've also played a bit of badminton with a few people in my team, and yeah, and then with some of the other grads, there's social events that happen, such as going to the pub, or we've been bowling, or yeah, there's other bits happening that makes it easier for people joining. It's like a nice way to bond with people, and it's just you get to know people from a different aspect rather than just work. You get a more rounded experience with getting to know people. So it's been really good.
No, that's great. Mary, have you got anything to add to that? Any kind of social aspects that you've been involved in?
Yeah, we also have a book club at McLaren, which has been really fun. Yeah, it's quite nice. We meet like every month. We all read a book. It's also really nice because it's open to everyone. So there's people from automotive and racing. So you kind of get to broaden your network as well. But also you get to just chat with like a really senior manager about this horror book we just read, which is quite nice. That's been quite fun. But yeah, there's also an early careers network, which is really good at planning events and also like workshops as well. So it's more of like an informal training that we run during work sometimes, just to keep on things like goal setting and like making sure you're like heading in the right direction that you want to, whether that be career wise or personal wise. So those are really good too.
A question there actually, and maybe we should mention or ask the question when we talked about training development, but if you wanted to become a chartered engineer, did McLaren support you with that?
Is that to me?
Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
I'm like staring at you. Sorry, yeah.
So there's no formal process like I believe it's called the MPDS scheme that other companies offer. But if you would like to pursue chartership, there's definitely avenues. So I myself am pursuing chartership, and so there are a lot of people in the company who have become chartered and are really happy to mentor and guide you on that journey. So again, like you were saying, just put a message out, talk to a manager. Usually managers are the ones who are chartered, so and then they'll be happy to like support you or advise you along the way.
Yeah. The other thing you mentioned there earlier was a kind of those relationships that you get to kind of have that slight crossover with racing to obviously McLaren racing. Is that quite common that you would get that, or is it just maybe in more of these social aspects you get that crossover?
More over the social aspects, because on the social side it's pretty much open to everybody. It's more of just like a people who have a collective interest in meeting. On the side, it's mainly just automotive.
Yeah, cool. That's cool though. It's nice to potentially meet others in the group that you might not cross over paths normally. So no, that's great. Alex, I'm going to come to you as well. Any other things that you've been involved in so far, whether it be the social side or maybe a project or something?
Yeah, I think with the social side, Alexandra and her team always do a really good first week in McLaren. So they make sure that you're connected with all the other grads, even if they're not in your department, and the interns as well. So they provide plenty of opportunities to have a social life basically and get to know the other grads. So if you're moving far away from home and you maybe don't know people around the area, it's really good. And also including in that first week, we got to get in a McLaren and be driven around the lake at the MTC. So that was pretty cool as well.
Yeah, nice one. That's brilliant. In terms of that kind of social kind of balance, how do you find the work-life balance? Do you feel as though, again, because, you know, you relocated for the role, you know, it's a big commitment for you to take it all on. How have you found kind of juggling everything, learning all this new stuff, you know, making friends, new location? How have you found that?
It's been really exciting, actually. I think the first few weeks, the learning was exponential and my brain sort of felt a bit fried at the end, but it was really good. And you learn all this new information about a new company and a new role. So I think at the start, it's really good to just have that sort of already planned social aspect by Alexandra and her team. Just so you know that you can have that chance to have a relaxed conversation with people that you may become friends with in the future.
Yeah, love that. And Hector, coming back to you then, how have you found it, you know, doing your placement, and again for you, first kind of work experience, you know, serious work experience maybe, you know, how are you finding that kind of balance, and again being social but learning as much as you're learning and juggling it all, how you cope, and are you all right?
It's been at the beginning, it's really hard. You come from uni, you pretty much you hardly have to go to lectures. That's a good life. No, but the first weeks were a bit hard trying to figure out, like, I have to go shopping, actually go, you know, just not go to work every day. But from the rest, it's been great. The social aspect, again, all of the interns, we have a big group, and they are all really, really good people. We always, like, we're going like to the pubs every Thursday. We're going to activities on the weekends like golf or whatever. So it's a bit of, you know, going to work, but after work, if you can manage, you learn to manage, and then you're free to do pretty much a lot of things.
And again, this is why doing a placement for anyone in any industry is so beneficial, because the things that you're going to learn now, imagine what you're going to be like when you go back into your final year of study. You're going to be even better than what you are now. So yeah, it's just hugely beneficial. So well done you for putting yourself in this situation and being so open. Carla, I'm going to hand back to you. You look as though your internet is better. You look.
Am I here? Am I here?
Yeah. So hopefully I'm going to hand back to you and we're going to find out more about the application process.
Yes, perfect. Thank you, everybody, for your insights so far. And Alexandra, I'm going to come to you. As we mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, your graduate schemes and industrial placements are now open on the Gradcracker Hub with a deadline of Friday. But what does the application process look like to the students who are applying?
Okay, so basically it's a 3-step application. They would have to submit their CV, their cover letter, and the screening questions related to that role. And as I said before, we encourage people applying for more than one role. Just to bear in mind, if they would do that, they would have to do a cover letter for each of the schemes that they apply for. And also they will have to be doing like the screening questions for each of the schemes as well. So they can't apply for everything in one go. So each role that they apply for will be a different application. And so what was the step? How the application is step by step. And so deadlines. And so once the applications close this Friday, our team will be reviewing all applications. We're gonna be making like a short list to go to the hiring teams. Then the hiring teams, they will have a deadline to come back with us with their own short list of people that they would like to be invited for interview. So by middle of December, everyone should hear from us, regardless if they are successful to the interview stage or not. And if they are successful, when they receive the invitation for interview, definitely before Christmas, they receive the invitation, but the interview is in the middle of January. So when they receive the invite to the interview, they will have all the dates, like the interview will be taking place on this day. If you are successful on that interview, you go to the last stage, that is the assessment center. So they will have the date on the assessment center already in December. And the assessment centers, they will be taking place over 3 weeks because of the number of schemes. So all the assessment centers, there are full day activities, and they will be either in the McLaren Technology Center or in Sheffield in our composite center, or in our creative center in Bicester. So basically, your assessment center is going to be where your scheme is going to be based. And so on that day, there's lots of group activities, but also individual tasks. And I know it might seem scary, a full day assessment, but I think the guys here, they all have gone through it, and it's a good fun, isn't it? It's a mix, and we try to make it as relaxed as possible. And during the lunch, we bring lots of people like from the area, like current grads and other people from their teams to come and network, to get to know them and stuff. So it's not a very serious day and stuff. Of course, you have to go through interviews and do things like presentation, but most of the day is relaxing, and you get a tour of facilities, and and that will be the last stage. So it's either the last week of January or the first 2 weeks of February. By the end of February, all the selection process will be complete. Everyone will have their offer letters, their contracts, everything sorted. Then to start in September 2026.
As easy as that. Lovely. Thank you, Alexandra. And another hot topic at the moment is about the use of AI when students apply or put their applications in. Do you have there at McLaren a stance on the use of AI?
Okay, so, wow. We do use AI nowadays as well, every day, to help us save time, to make our work more efficient. So, of course, we expecting that the students will be using AI on their applications, and that's completely fine. But we just say, like, to use AI as a friend to help you to structure your thoughts, to check grammar, to improve the flow on your cover letter and stuff, but not to write on your behalf. It's quite easy to spot when a cover letter or the screening questions have largely been done or answered by AI. And we can see lots of cover letters, like the first paragraph, why apply for McLaren, is exactly the same for everyone. So definitely it has been done by AI.
Yes.
And so just watch out for the way you use it. And we really want to feel that our application is genuine, and that we are getting the opportunity to know a bit about you. So yes, we happy with AI, but just watch out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is Alexandra and Alexandra's team who review every single application that is received. So just bear that in mind when you're putting your application together. And Alexandra, I'm going to stay with you now, if I can. Any hints and tips that you would give the students of how they can be successful?
Yes, I think my biggest tip is really to make your application genuine and personal. We really want to get a sense of you, because I think the main thing is like a relevant degree and like some extracurricular activities. Almost everyone that's applying will have. So we want to know what else can you bring. We are looking at you as a potential colleague, and so we want to understand where have you gone the extra mile. And so I would say really make sure that you make us to feel curious to talk to you, like, I really wanted to get to know more that person, I really want to interview that person and stuff. So make it very like how to say, make us curious to get to know you. And just to say, like, when we are looking at applications, we are looking at a combination of things, no? So will be all these things, like the degree, the technical foundation, alongside everything else that you have done outside of your studies. And I would say one tip, not to make your cover letter too short and not too long either. And just enough like to show us your motivation, your skills, and your suitability for that scheme. And on the CV, would go like for 1 or 2 pages maximum, and make sure it's very clear, well structured, and like structured, and make sure that there's no grammar mistakes and stuff.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Alexandra. And Maria, I want to come on to you now, because I know you watched the Gradcracker webinar a couple of years ago, but what did you do when you applied? You know, how did you put your initial application together? Any hints and tips that you'd like to give the audience?
It's a bit ago, but
Cast your mind back.
Watching the Gradcracker webinar was really helpful, which hopefully everybody else has found. It's helpful kind of getting some insights for people who work here. But I think, really, I think what I found from my application process is that there are so many applicants, and there's so many people who apply for the same roles. So you really do need to make yourself stand out and make it really easy for the hiring team. So for Alexandra to do her job. So like she said, if you make it really clean cut, keep, you know, all of your core skills at the top of your CV. So if someone's reading it even quickly, they see that you're the right candidate for the job. That's always really good. And yeah, I think it's really important to explain how you're using your skills. I think that's a big thing that people sometimes miss in your cover letters. If you can explain how and what you've achieved through an actual example, or from university, or from an extracurricular, that's always really is much better to explain to somebody how you've achieved that skill, rather than just saying that you have it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Maria. And Cameron, anything that you'd like to add about your application and how you put that together?
Pardon, was that to me? Sorry.
Yes, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, similar to what's been said already, but yeah, just point out where you're, try and make yourself different, I guess, and try and make yourself stand out, and show where you've applied those skills, and how those could be useful to McLaren in the real world.
Perfect. Brilliant answer. Thank you, Cameron. And Hector and Alex, just back to you now to tag team it. So first couple of weeks at McLaren, how can you be successful? Any hints and tips?
I think, going off what people have mentioned earlier, ask any question and all the questions you could think of. Even if you think this is a silly question, it's not, just ask. That's the best thing to do. Everyone there is so happy and willing to help you, and I think to make the most out of that in the first week, because the amount of stuff you will be learning is quite crazy. So to make the most out of that, just ask. If you ever have any questions, just ask, and it'll be a really good first week for you.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think what Alexandra said at the beginning, that the culture here is amazing, and I can say it is true. Literally just ask anyone any question, they'll be happy to help. Just take it, not take it to rush it. Don't rush it too much. At the beginning, you're gonna be learning a lot, so take it calmly, and you'll get there eventually.
Yeah. And enjoy it. Just have fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you, Hector. Well, that's it for this week's webinar. So thank you everybody for joining us today. Don't forget, this webinar will be on the McLaren Hub, and we'll also break it down into bite-sized chunks as well. Join me and Jessica, me and Sophie on Thursday, where we're joined by Atkins Realis. But for today, thank you all. Good luck. Don't forget, applications close on Friday, and we shall see you all again soon. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.